Thank you for watching KTN. This is Weekend Prime and welcome back. Now, this is First the Facts. The issue of criminal gangs, commonly referred to as goons, has gone beyond acceptable limits in Kenya. It has reached a point where we must have an honest conversation instead of shifting blame every day. The truth is, this is how Haiti started. Kenya is slowly heading down the same path. In this weekend's edition of Face the Facts, our reporter Haman Kamariki raises tough questions to the country's security agencies.
Welcome to First the Facts. The truth of the matter is, we are headed the wrong direction as a country. Let me be very honest. We are headed the Haiti way. Before we even go further, let's take a look at this video.
Two armed robbers walk through the front door and brandish their guns. They fire blanks that get everyone terrified.
Today, simply walking into a restaurant to have a meal or a drink no longer guarantees your safety. In this video, you can see Kenyans being robbed by armed young men carrying guns. It is a situation that should have jolted our leaders out of their slumber. But they're still asleep anyway. Kenya needs urgent action because this is how Haiti started. If that is not enough, remember what happened to Vihiga Senator Godfrey Osotsi while in Kisumu. He walked into a restaurant for a meal. Instead, he was attacked, beaten, and nearly lost his life. Several suspects were arrested, but the matter appears to have gone quiet. There are reports that some of those linked to the attack are still being seen operating within other criminal gangs. Let me repeat, Kenya needs urgent action because this is how Haiti started. And if you manage to avoid being shot in a restaurant or attacked in a salon, you decide to go to church to worship and pray for strength to survive. Let me tell you, there is no guaranteed safety in church as well. Tear gas will follow you there. Violence and physical attacks are becoming part of worship in churches. This should be a lesson to us. Church was somewhere someone would run to for safety. But if you run to our churches, you're at risk. Kenya needs urgent action because this is how Haiti began. Now, let's watch this other video here. Young men with bows and arrows, clubs and machetes are walking in groups in broad daylight. They are not heading to the forest to hunt. No, they are hunting fellow Kenyans and invading political meetings, even in church. This is in Kisumu. We have turned political gatherings into battlefields where violence, tear gas, and even shootings become commonplace. The question I have is this. Is the country's intelligence system working? Or it's asleep? Or are there people benefiting from this insecurity when these armed groups and goons walk openly through our streets? Where are the police? Why are they not being dispersed and arrested? Or let me say, have they been allowed to terrorize innocent Kenyans while politicians gain publicity from the bloodshed? Let me tell you one thing, politicians. One day, your blood will also shed if you don't take action. Just the other day in Nyandarua, the situation has also deteriorated. Criminal gangs appear to operate openly, sometimes right in front of the police. In some cases, police officers themselves are accused of behaving like the very criminals they are meant to stop. Let me say, sometimes I feel there are police officers who are also goons. Because you tell me why a police officer would attend a political gathering without a uniform, and then he's accompanied by young men carrying, machetes and all those. In Nyahururu, during a political meeting, tear gas was fired before the governor's driver was shot in the chest. The governor's driver was shot. Now, what does this tell us? If a governor's driver can become a victim of a gun violence, it is a sign that no one will be spared if this country and this insecurity continues to, paint this picture. Politicians may believe these gangs are useful in intimidating political opponents, but history teaches us that such groups eventually outgrow those who sponsor or tolerate them. The first victims of the reality may well be the very politicians who think they are in control today. President William Samoei Ruto You are the father of the nation. We respect that office. Dear President, you promised that every Kenyan would be free and safe in their own country.
Nishamweleza Inspector General wetu wa polisi kwamba watu hawa wote lazima wachukuliwe hatua kali za kisheria ndio tukomeshe uhuni.
So let me ask you, why are Kenyans increasingly being killed and attacked by criminal gangs in broad daylight? Surely. Why have political meetings become scenes of violence and bloodshed? As a president and a commander-in-chief of the Kenya Defense Forces, do you see what is happening really? The Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen. Sir, time has come to move beyond public relations statements, political statements. You're no longer a politician. You serve one of the critical assets of this country. The national security cannot be managed through speeches alone. And these threats left, right, and center. When you speak in a function, you look more of a politician than a minister or a cabinet secretary who should give directions and cover everyone, whether opposition or those in government. Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja, together with your deputies, Eliud Kipkoech Lagat and Gilbert Masengeli, many Kenyans believe there are questions your institution has not answered. There is a growing perception that the National Police Service is increasingly being used for political interests instead of protecting ordinary citizens. Some even feel the police are even goons. If that perception continues to grow, then once again, we must remember this is how Haiti started. To the Director of Criminal Investigations, Mohammed Ibrahim Amin, your officers have successfully tracked down some of these suspects, and in certain cases, deadly force has been used when suspects violently resisted arrest. Let me say, that was a good job. They did well. But the question remains, sir, must Kenyans first become victims before investigations begin? Or can intelligence gathering and preventive policing stop these attacks before they happen? Finally, Kenyans, take this. The events surrounding the Ol-Kalou by-election should serve as a wake-up call for this country. If this is the level of violence, and this is how we are beginning to witness the violence, and this is how the elections will be next year when we have the general elections, then Kenya must seriously reflect on the direction it is taking. Because we are headed the Haiti way. We shall get ourselves into a hole that will actually be hard for us to get out. That's all for the week's First the Facts. Greetings to the residents of Kapindani Village, Koinet Kapsuswa Ward, Soy Constituency, Uasin Gishu County. My name is Haman Kamariki. Goodbye.